Hi everyone, and welcome to a new session with Code with Sally. Today I have my great friend Saman Attar, Camp Apex org founder and a great friend of mine. He was with us before on Code with Sally, and we saw and we learned a lot from him about the design smells, and he demonstrated with us how to write a workflow that we can use, and this the description he did and explaining to the Agentforce Vibes how to detect them and the format to give in the output. And we didn't have enough time, I guess, Samantha, to finish all the thoughts you had or the questions. We want to go through it. So Saman agreed to come again to the show and to have more discussion and more experiment today together. So I'm grateful for your time and thank you so much for joining me today again, Saman. It really means a lot.
Let's go, but don't thank me too much, Sally, because I'm going to be needing a lot of your help as my resident Agentforce expert on today's session. So excited to do this with you.
Thank you. I will do
So
my
where we
best.
dropped off, yeah, of course. No, you're killing it. So where we dropped off the last session, we talked about design smells, what they are, why we should care about them. And we got introduced to this idea of creating a Markdown file that we can then feed to Agentforce and have it understand and have a common definition for design smells and ultimately help us spot some of those design smells in our code. What we didn't fully get an opportunity to do is experience the end-to-end workflow. So how can we prompt Agentforce a little more intelligently about exactly what we need? And by that, I really mean what files we wanted to analyze, if we wanted to focus on what we called as platform risks or design smells or other risks that we identified, and also take it one step further too and have it actually create a more readable output file for us, maybe even refactor it for us, provide test class updates for us, etc., etc. So that's what we're going to be exploring today. See if Agentforce can really take us from the very beginning to the very end of our workflow. So I'm super excited to be talking about that.
That's amazing. Yeah, I'm super excited, man. So, and I believe that will be helpful because we saw briefly at the end of the last session, like how the Asian Force Vibes detected the design smells you had, but it was in the panel of Asian Force Vibes. So if you want to take it to your team, to your if you're a developer, you want to take it to your lead developer and discuss which ones we should tackle or if we want to create user stories from them, it will be hard to share what we had in the panel outside of unless we download the chat, and I'm not sure about the format and how it will look like. So the idea was to give a markdown file that looks nice and we can share it as well with the team.
Exactly. Yeah, we'll see if Agentforce can go all the way and create that artifact for us.
That's
So let me
exciting.
get my screen up here.
Yeah.
So if you saw the original session we did, this markdown file should look familiar. It's a really long 870 something line file with all the different types of risks, smells, and information for the agent on how to define different categories, how to identify different pieces of evidence, and how to output the rules. One of the things I want to do in this session is break this really large MD file, which is its own God object, really, or God MD file, into smaller files that kind of represent intent a little more clearly. The same thing we do when we're writing actual code. So to do that, I'm going to go into this A4D rules folder, and I'm going to create a couple new folders. The first one is going to be called references, and that is where I'll hold the different uh, things like platform risks, design smells, communication smells, and team or process risks. I'm going to create another one called templates, and that will hold some information about how I want to actually output this information, which should be everything. Where is it? Outputs. Yeah, I think it'll end up being these output rules, but we'll see. And what I'll also do is we're going to get rid of this design smell MD. We don't want this one big 800 line file. We're going to replace this with another file called code review that's going to help us holistically understand the end to end of doing a code review with an AI agent like Agentforce. So I'll delete this later, But for now, let me hop on over here and create a new workflow. I'm going to make this a workspace rule. I'm just going to
Uh,
call it code
y-
review.
you are choosing rules. You wanted a workflow, right? You are, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Thank you, Sally. You got me. You got me. So
Yeah.
we're going to make one called code review.md. And let's get started with this. What I'm going to do here under these references, all these different categories that I talked about, I'm going to put those here under the references folder. Or maybe it makes better sense to call them categories instead. Let me rename this to categories. And I'm going to create 4 different categories. I'm going to create the platform risk category. I'm going to create the design smell category. And then the other ones, we got platform risk, we got design smells, we got communication smells as a category.
And when we are filling those, can we go quickly through them, like just to refresh everyone's memory, like what's included in each, without going definitely into each smell in depth? We had this in last session in details.
For sure. Yeah, once I copy these over, I'll get to go into all those in
Sure.
detail. So let me get this team and process risk. Cool. Okay. So starting off with those platform risks, close these out for a second. Okay. Okay, so the first thing I'll do is move over those platform risks into its own categories, and I'll just summarize what those were again. So platform risk could potentially actually cause an error in production, whether that is some issue related to a security concern where you're not enforcing proper read or write access before implementing some operation in Apex, or it could be something that has to do with failing in large data volumes, but not necessarily smaller data volumes. So these are all categorized under a platform risk. A couple examples of those are non-bulkified code, undeclared sharing, missing CRUD access, non-selective queries. A couple of these you are going to see overlap with Apex PMD, and we kind of talked about that a little bit more in the last session on where it may or may not make sense. I think things like these undeclared sharing postures, Apex PMD already does a wonderful job calling that out.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't necessarily need it to use Agentforce for that type of use case. But I kept it in here just so we can kind of see that overlap and show that you don't absolutely need Agentforce to replace existing tools. But you might be able to get some additional context using Agentforce that tools like Apex PMD don't offer you. So we'll see if we have a chance to kind of dig deeper into that. So let me go ahead and move everything under platform risk on out of this file. We're going to move it on here instead. And you know what, Sally? I'm kind of wondering, can Agentforce help me out here? Do I really have to go into each and every one of these and copy and paste it? Or do you think I can ask Agentforce to go ahead and move some of these files into their respective folders for me? What do you think?
Let's try. Like, let's try with one of them. Like, if you have the design smell, like, let's just try and say, like, give it the file, or you don't have to copy and paste if you want to try it fully. Like, say, I have this section, design smells. Can you copy and move it to um, those files? Like, 3 sections in my design. Yeah,
Yeah,
and
these three
give the three
sections called,
sections. Design smells, communication smells.
let's say I also have 3 files with similar names in my categories.
You can do
What
the
does that have
there.
look there? Nice, let's go.
Yeah.
Folder. Can you please move these over into those .md files? Let's see, Sally. I'm lazy. Let's see if it works.
Okay, let's see.
Fingers crossed. What do you mean you don't have
I see,
content?
but I don't have the actual content. I have a question. I don't have the source for the three actions to move, and you can say they exist in the file. Yes, it's in workflow. It's the first, right? The first check.
Oh, okay. There you go, bud. You gotta reassure it sometimes, you know? Okay, all right, all right. Did it do with the rest of them?
It's waiting still for you to save, right? Uh, it's moving to the next.
So it was able to move those over, which is great. The originals are still here. I don't need these anymore, so let me drop these from this file.
And did you take a quick look, Saman, to confirm they are correct, moved correctly? Just out of
Uh,
curiosity.
I guess I skimmed it, but yeah, let me give
Okay,
it a
yeah,
look. So yeah, these are
that's good.
correct. CS, that's perfect. TP, that's perfect. DS, that's perfect. And then that one I did by hand, solid. Cool. So
That's
let
great.
me delete these.
Mhm.
And this quick reference, we don't need that here anymore. So let me drop this. Okay.
This word you needed, like the references.
That I think it was superfluous to begin with. I don't think it's
Oh,
needed at
okay.
all. Okay. So the next thing I want to do is instead of calling this templates, let's change the name
Output format.
to yeah, output format. Good idea. Call this formatting format.md or something. Got categories, evidence types, output rules, tie breaking rules, response format. Well, so let's at least take this response format on out of here. And I'll put that into this format.
That's how you wanted to give you the output at the end?
This is the structured, at least like what we wanted in the design smells version. So this
Mm-hmm.
is the structured output, but this is where I think where we should start having Agentforce ask us some questions
Mm-hmm.
to help us have a better kind of ability to control what it reviews.
Okay.
Does that sound like a good idea?
Yes, it's there is a way in the workflows where you can um, ask questions and you can like either guide the Agentforce Vibes to give you like options to choose from versus like if you wanted to just and ask a question and give you a free form like to type it. So there is
Okay,
always that
perfect.
option.
I will take you up on that. Let's do that. Let me make sure there's nothing else I wanted to bring. Guidelines. Yeah, I think we're good. Cool. So, Sally, do you recommend those instructions? Should they be in the code review.md file, right?
Uh,
That can kind of be like the central driver, or what do you think?
yeah, I think like if you want to have a code review command. So you will start there and like we want to guide Agentforce Vibes. What are the steps it has to follow? And if you have any questions to have it there, I guess.
Okay. So we'll kind of define this workflow or something, right? This code review workflow,
Yeah.
and just
And
provide a description.
yeah,
Yeah,
I love to have a description as well. Like, so for me, even like to read it and make sense of what I wanted to do here.
perfect. So I'll just say conduct a code review given the criteria below and generate the detailed Markdown explanation to help an engineer identify different, um, say, like code smells, platform risks, etc. within their selected files. And then we need to have a way of um, letting Agentforce know that we have a detailed sequence of steps, right? What would be the best way to do that?
The way I did it before, and like I saw in one of the videos online, that we create like some sort of XML tags. So I like to wrap all of that in detailed sequence of steps, like kind of tag. Again, yeah. Um,
Something like
and
this.
like to start and end and like have everything in between. And I like to put it in a number, like number one, what do we want to do? But like I also like to give it an instruction here that we want to follow the steps in order.
Okay, perfect. So something like this, or do you have an attribute that says like first question, second question?
I think no, let's start with hash hash and
Okay.
number one, what's the step you want to do as a first step? Do you want to ask like which classes they want to code review for first?
Yeah, that's an awesome first place to start. So let's see. Ask which
Okay.
classes to review.
And I saw in
And then
Salesforce
should I?
documentation, you can ask if, like, again, with the XML tag, you can have ask follow-up question and you give it the question in either like an option for answers or not. Uh, so you can use this command.
Something like this.
Yeah.
Cool. And then
And
do I
have
need a
the
question
question.
tag within there?
Yes, correct.
Awesome. Okay, cool. So in here, we're going to ask the user, hey, which Apex class or classes would you like me to review? Is it okay for it to be open-ended like this?
Yeah. It's totally fine. And it's either like when I did it before in one of the sessions, I give them example like either to have the add or to have a multi-comma separated, but I think it's fine to leave it like that. Users will use
Okay,
the Agentforce Vibes window to do add the context.
perfect. So what if a user ends up putting in multiple classes? What should we do there?
Uh, what I did before, and it's optional, I guess it's whether you want to give it to them or not, is to maybe, um, if you want the output of the documentation will generate at the end to be in a single file, or they wanted to split it per class. So if that's something we want to add in our workflow, we can have another follow-up question that says like, if the user chose multiple classes, ask this follow-up question.
Okay, so only if the user specifies multiple files, I guess, or classes in this case, right?
Yeah,
Um, that's the following follow-up question.
question.
And
And
then I would
have
take
another.
this.
And here,
Cool.
I would say it would be a good idea to choose to give the option like this syntax I shared with you before for the option, like to give them an easy way. Sometimes what I notice that Agentforce Vibes sometimes respect those options and show it, and sometimes no. But like whenever it's shown, like it's a plus for the user not to type it.
Okay. I love it. I love it. Yeah, let's try to do that. So the first option would be like a single file for everything, right?
Yeah,
And then second option would be create one markdown per file, right?
yeah.
Or per class. Cool. And then the question that we're asking the user here is, would you like me to generate a single combined markdown file or one per class? Cool.
Yep.
Made ourselves a little picklist value. Sweet. So I think that's the full first step. Once we do that,
I have
since
a
we
quick
have
question
multiple,
for you. So, are you
yeah, yeah,
planning
go for it.
for them to choose which category, or will assume that all the categories will be checked?
Great question. Let's not force it on them, right? Like let's build it in a way where the user can kind of customize it based on what
Okay,
they need in that given moment in time. So that can be the second question, right?
correct. Yeah.
I love it. Sally, I love where your head's at. Let's go. So let's ask the user what they need reviewed. And instead of what they need, let's make it a little more specific. What
Category.
category
Mhm.
reviewed? Perfect. So again, using this new syntax you just taught me, ask follow-up question. Let's slap that on here. We're going, Sally. We're going a million miles an hour. And we're going to
Yes.
ask
And
the user, what are we going to ask them? What are we going to ask them?
which category you want to review for them? I don't know. I don't like to think about the questions.
I love it. I love it. Neither do I. Which category would you like reviewed? And then this new option syntax. Let's steal that again. And here we got our communication smells. Got our design smells. Got our platform. Whoops. Platform risks. I'm so tired of typing already. Team process. Okay, cool. We're locked in. We're locked in.
But I don't, I think here, like, I didn't test it, to be honest, before that I had more than two categories. I don't know if the user wants to do more, if they can type in the chat one type, comma, the other type, Agentforce vibes were respected or not. Like usually my test was with two categories or two options, but I
Mm-hmm.
think let's not complicate it. And even if it's will behave with a one, or we can test like if it will allow us to enter comma and define more, yeah, while we are going.
I oh yeah, I see. For now, do you want to create one that says like all?
Yeah, maybe.
And then we'll try to break it in the meantime if we still have some API limits left. But after using Agentforce to create these files, I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, all categories. Sweet. And hopefully the hope here is that it's able to associate this with this. Anything that you think we should do
I
to connect
learned
these a little bit more, or is it
I
fine?
learned a new syntax from
Okay.
Beach. Let me put for you in the chat on Zoom how we can reference another file. So I didn't try before to leave it out to the to Agentforce like to refer based on the selected. But if we want to do like maybe we can have if user chose communication smells or all categories read this file.
Oh, I see. Okay, so I would do one of these per. So if the user chose communication smells,
Or all
choose
categories. Um,
categories.
but okay, it's under okay, categories, yes.
Is this what you were thinking?
Yeah, yeah. I didn't try it before, so I just learned about this like in the
Hey,
weekend.
you're learning, I'm learning. Shout out Beach.
Yes.
If you're watching this Beach, hello.
And do you want to say or all categories because you want to be covered or we have one for all categories and we say read all those files.
I'm gonna choose the laziest option.
Yeah.
If the user chose all categories.
Okay.
Sweet.
You want to change, yeah, those ones.
Cool. Hopefully I didn't mistype anything. I think that's good enough. Sweet.
The
Okay.
only
Okay.
thing I'm not sure about if we should move it outside the ask follow-up question clause for the XML or we try like
Hmm.
that.
Let's maybe let's move it out.
Yeah.
Should we wrap it with its own tag if we move it out or no?
I
Or maybe
think,
that could be step three.
okay. Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, yeah, we can try
Dedicated
it.
step?
Yeah.
We're going all in?
Yes, let's
Guys, do
try.
not put Sally and I in a room. It's dangerous. All right. Step three, based on the user's input, select the.
Or read
Hmm,
the right file. It's not so,
what do you think?
yeah.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. We're cooking out here, Sally. We're cooking. All right, step four. I'm getting so tired of writing this. I don't want to write Markdown anymore.
And can
We're
I
gonna
ask you
want
a
to
quick
format.
question? Sorry,
Yeah,
Saman. Can you try before in line 29, after
yeah.
read file tag to go to the hit enter, like put it in a like not in a single line, we break it. Like will it it doesn't I'm just wondering why it's not changing the color for it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think just the
The tab. Okay.
tabs are.
Maybe
Do you,
keep
what do you
it.
think? Do you care or no? Keep
I
it.
like to see it in blue.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that.
Okay. I don't think
Let's
it
move
matter
that
in one
there.
line or no. It was just the where we started, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Aesthetics are everything, Sally.
Mm, okay. And those files contains the rules based on which it will scan the files, right?
Yeah, they contain a common definition
Mm-hmm.
of like what the rule is about, how to identify it, false flags, and how to report on evidence and all that.
So do we want in line 27 give more context that this step is not just reading but also analyzing the classes, or do you think you'll come to it later? Because I saw in
Hmm.
you wanted step 4 to format, so
Yeah. Can I just say like review for now? Review the files below.
review. Okay. I mean, like we didn't say anywhere like we want to use those files to review the classes chosen. That's my only concern. Like we are not being specific.
Oh, I see what you mean. So we could say based on the user's input. Um,
Read the files or like read the files below and like use it to review the classes chosen by the user. Something like that, and feel free to rephrase it.
I think it's a good start. We'll see how it behaves. We
Yeah.
can clean it up. Okay. So formatting the results in a markdown file. So here we should probably give it some instructions about creating a new file, maybe putting it in a dedicated folder, like a code review folder. I think I
Yeah.
already had one stubbed out right here.
Even if
And
you
then we
want to
can,
delete this one, Saman, and like we give it an instruction because not everyone will have it, we can say like create a folder. And I believe if you have it, it will not cause any issues. I tested before, but like just we say like create a folder called and what do you want?
let's just say that includes the time of the execution. Say the name maybe should include like file name underscore. We put file name in the carrots.
Mm, Here, I think we need to have a distinguish between if the user chose a single file or multiple, because it will
Oh
be
yeah.
different, right?
The user chose a single file, should be named code review.
Mm,
Do you think it's okay to make that a separate statement?
yeah, I think so.
Well, it's not necessarily if they chose single files or multiple files, it's what they decided here,
Okay.
right? So, like, we should try to connect this back with step one. There's no way for me to
The-
like store this in a variable, is there?
I'm not aware of that, but like what I did before, I said if user chose a single combined file and I give it a name like let's say Apex class code review. And if the
Mm-hmm.
user chose multiple files, save classes separately using, and I said the class name. Do you want me to give you the syntax I used in mine?
Yeah, yeah, I can definitely use that.
Okay, let
It's
me
just
put it.
that here we ask them not necessarily like, hmm, let me see yours first, I guess.
I had something similar as well, like to choose a single file or multiple.
Let me copy what you have so everyone can see. And get rid of what I have. Make that number four, make that number five. Okay. So you said format the results in a Markdown file. Okay, solid, cool. Save the generated documentation, create a folder named documentation. Okay, so in our case, we want
Code
code
review.
review. Perfect. If the user chose a single combined file, oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, combine all the classes. Love it, Sally. Let's go. Code review timestamp. The user chose multiple files, save each one separately. Perfect.
And you want to change in line 62 code review as well, right? Yeah.
Killing the game. Who's the culprit? It's Sally. Let's
Uh,
go. Okay. What else we got?
do you have anything missing in design spells? You need to push it or remove it here, or we're good?
Yeah, I think we can move everything else that's in there here.
Where do we want to
Yeah,
put it in the steps? Like that's when you are moving, think where you want it.
good question. Let's see. Category definition. It doesn't really need to be. Let me just for now
Mm-hmm.
move this at the bottom of the code review
Okay.
and see how it does.
Okay,
And
for
then we
sure.
can kind of figure out how to structure it from there if that's cool.
Yeah, yeah, let's try.
Cool. And let's gamble away everything and delete this file.
Okay.
Don't ever take me to Vegas.
Yeah. The
Okay.
when I did it with like documentation and other scenarios we tried in Code with Sally, I had everything from start to end within the detailed sequence step, like the tag. Didn't have anything extra outside, but why not to try? Let's try and see. Like it may work. Again, there is no clear yet documentation about the best way to write the workflow empty file. The comments I saw, like I saw, um, based on like either documentation, the read file, I got it from Beach. So let's see.
Okay. Let's see. I didn't add any new XML. I didn't add any new tags while you were talking. So yeah, that's not there. Code review.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yes, let's go.
Let's go. Okay, okay, nice. And I'm in the act mode.
Yes, that's great. Which class? Okay, so here it's waiting for you to give like which class or classes you want to do.
Let's do our trusty and dusty customer onboarding manager.
Okay. Now it should give us like
Okay,
which
nice.
category.
It did the pick list. That's great.
Yeah.
Let's do design film.
Yes. Let's start small.
Yeah.
So it read the design smell, which is great, as like the if statement we had.
Mm-hmm.
And it's in
Starting with
creating a new file based on,
mm-hmm.
it didn't put the timestamp piece, which is fine. All right. Try again. Again. Let's see what it will do. Right, file failed. If it goes in, like if it keep giving us this error, maybe let's cancel and try again so we don't consume. Retry saving with folder creation. Yes. It- did we include a step to create a folder, right? I guess. Yeah.
Um, not not like explicitly, but we told it the path. Do you think that's why it's failing?
I think if you took the steps I did, like we had like one, right? To create a folder.
Oh yeah, it was the step. You're right.
Mm-hmm. But maybe I didn't know where to put it. Um, let's create cancel. Hit cancel, but it's done. Okay. Um,
Start a new session.
yes, and I tested before, and it created for me like the documentation folder. So whether you want to test it without creating the folder, or if you want to create the folder as well, like you can create the folder and see how it goes. But I tested before to create a folder. Maybe it's just permission or something. But let's see.
Let's try creating one.
Yeah. So here, which class? Okay. Design smells. It read the design smell empty file only, which is great. And here it's creating a new file, custom onboarding manager, which is good. Why it's giving you error? Error executing. Fail to open the editor. Please try again. That's interesting. I didn't see this error before. Um, let's cancel. Like, if you want to remove the timestamp piece from the naming, I don't know if it's causing any issues, but I have it in the example that I did for the documentation. Um, I'm just trying to think of why it can be failing. It's okay. It shouldn't give you this, but it's fine. Design smells. You want to try something else? Design smells. Okay. Um,
Come on, man. You were doing so good. Did I misspell the file name? Line smell.
but it was able to read it before. Was it wrong?
No, that's a good point. I mean, the name was wrong here, but it was able to read it before.
Maybe again,
So
we switch from the pro to core mid execution, so sometimes that can cause some hiccups as well.
okay,
Okay.
cool. At least we got this generated.
And is it following the format you requested, Saman? Like you'd be
Yes.
the best one to judge.
Yeah, it definitely is. So to verify that, if we go to
Let's
the design
open it in
smell,
preview. if you want.
Hmm. Just as a highlight of what we asked it for, again, we gave it a very, very high level kind of explanation of what that is, different signals to look for, um, some ways that maybe it could be a false flag for that design smell, refactoring opportunities, and then help us kind of figure out priority and then
Hmm.
impacts as well. So the output here, let's see what we got back.
Do you want to open
So
it
it
in the
said,
preview? I love the preview.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Good idea. Okay, findings, great. Okay, thinks
Good
it's a
object.
God object. Design that's pretty confident in that. The class is named Customer Onboarding Manager is vague and indicates multiple responsibilities. I think it's saying that because of this manager postfix in the
Mm-hmm.
name. It's probably calling that out. So the class handles account validation, contact creation, task creation. That's already three S objects
Mm-hmm.
that's in charge of updating. So that's fair.
Yeah.
It also does status updates, but I'm not sure which object it's doing those status updates on. And it's doing its own logging. Okay, I mean, I think that's a decent argument for being a God object.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's interesting because sometimes when people talk about God objects, they look very, they only really look at the number of lines in the class
Mm.
or the number of methods in the class. What I liked about this is it looks at the context of the different methods that live in that class, and it's able to kind of call out the fact that there's multiple S objects being manipulated by this one class, and that's kind of nice. What else does it say? Contains 8 public private methods that span across multiple concerns. So that's interesting, right? So it's not only calling out that, hey, you're updating at least 3 different S objects from this class, but on those 3 different S objects, you're also doing data validation, task management, status tracking, notification. It kind of had me in the first half, but it lost me there.
Mm.
Methods handle database operations. Okay, cool. Business logic. Okay. I think there's some opportunities to clean up the evidence a little bit.
Okay.
Like I liked that it categorized this as data validation because I feel like that's a very it's not specific to like my domain at all. It's just like data validation. But
Mm-hmm.
like task management, status tracking, I feel like those are you have to know about the underlying business processes to know what those are. I
Mm-hmm.
don't like that it mixed them, if that makes sense. I
Yeah.
did like, okay, cool, cool. I did like that it called out that we're mixing database operations with business logic
Mm-hmm.
and notification sending. That's good to know. Evidence, the class likely handles multiple aspects of customer onboarding workflow. Yeah, it does seem like that's the case. Gives us the interpretation. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, I like that sentence a lot better than that. Okay, cool. Impacts maintainability, cohesion. Okay, and then suggested refactor. Sally, let's see how good the suggestion is, shall we?
Yes, and I want to
So,
highlight something. The benefit
yeah.
of the MD now, like Saman, like while you're going through it, if you don't like something, like from the suggested refactor, or you want to add
Mhm,
something, or let's say it tells you it will create a class and you don't agree with the class name, it's a good way for
mhm,
you now to edit the Markdown file. It's part of you as like team leader, reviewing the findings and refining what will happen or be implemented um, before asking Agentforce Vibes to fix them. So it follows what you will be putting here as well.
Oh, that's a really good point. Yeah, you're right. We don't have to treat this as like a final output. We can still edit it ourselves to kind of get exactly what we want. It's a
Yes.
great point. Which, oh my God, I'm so tempted to do that with that line. I hate that line. Hate's a strong word. Sorry, I used that word. Okay,
Yeah, yeah.
suggested refactor.
No, and if you don't want to look at it in the review, like the review shows that it looks nice, but we can switch to non-review. So while you are looking at it and you want to edit something, you can go ahead and remove. It's fine.
See ya.
Yeah.
Good riddance. Good riddance. Okay, suggested refactor.
Yeah.
Okay, so it wants us to extract the account validation logic into a dedicated account validator class. Okay.
Yeah.
Move the task creation and management to a task manager class. Okay. Create a status updater class for handling status changes. I don't really love that. I don't like naming these after
The object.
verbs at that level.
Okay.
Well, like after, I don't love. We'll see. We'll see. I have
But
to
you
go
can go
over it
ahead
again.
and change it. Like, feel free.
Yeah.
Again, you'd be the boss here. You know this class more than me, so it's your call.
Yeah, that's true. We'll see what we can do with it.
Sure.
And then extract logging functionality to an audit logger class. Okay, that's fine. Maybe I don't love audit logger. Maybe we can use something open source, or maybe we already have logging capabilities
Mm-hmm.
in this org. So that's definitely something to consider versus jumping right into an audit logger.
And that's a
The other thing that I
good thing as well, because whenever you're working on a project, you will have to decide whether how you will be logging the exceptions. Like
Mhm,
I worked in projects where we created our custom objects and like we had our utility classes and methods to log into this custom object. And in my one of my recent projects, like we are using Nebula Logger, so you can have
right,
a strategy and like you can, for example, if you want to have a custom, you can have a class handling this and you call it everywhere. So if you want to remove it, update how you are logging, you have a centralized place where you go to and update, and you don't have to edit and fix every single class. So I like that it suggested to remove this somewhere. Maybe the name, I don't love it too, but it's a good suggestion, I guess.
right. Yeah, no, I agree. I think that's awesome. And yeah, and to that point, it's giving us a lot of suggestions, but one thing it didn't do was understand the context in which I'm asking it to do this review.
Mm-hmm.
Potentially, this class could have already existed, and I added one new method on here called like update onboarding status.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's a good idea to go ahead and just start making this major refactor when all I have on my plate or on my Jira board, for example, is to create this new functionality for updating the onboarding status.
Yeah.
So to your point, I think even this document kind of needs to be divided into two. Some of these items probably need to go onto the tech debt backlog and we can have larger discussions with the team.
Mm-hmm.
But if there are pieces of feedback that have to do with the exact changes I made, I think we should really only consider those. Since
Correct. Yeah.
that's not the exact context we're dealing with right now, we'll look past that. But I just wanted to call that out for anyone that does want to use this against or a similar pattern against their enterprise code base. Just because Agentforce is telling you about these different issues doesn't mean you have to go immediately fix those right now. Because again, you have to communicate those changes with your business, you have to test all those changes, and you're kind of inherently introducing risk by making code changes that are kind of outside the scope of your original work without involving all these extra folks to make sure that your system still is working the way that it was intended to be working. So just a small disclaimer there. So what should we do from here, Sally? Do you want to ask it, should we update this Markdown file to kind of highlight one really small change that we wanted to make and then see if it can make it?
Yeah, you can cross the changes that you don't want, or we told everyone this is like just for testing and we want to see it like out of curiosity if it will do everything. But in real life projects as well, it's a good idea not just to review it with the team and have technical dead stories to go through it, but some of the things sometimes I do as well is the deep planning functionality in Agentforce Vibes, like to have a second eye as an architect, or because it will assess the other classes and what you have in the org, and it can come with some questions. Did you mean that? Did you want this? This is the pattern you want to do it. Like it can help as well planning, but we have tried the deep planning in other sessions, but maybe for this one, it would be overkill if we take this file or like the changes here and ask it to deep plan it and look at it. I think, yes, if you want to go either with it as is, or if you want to remove some items and keep some specific changes in the file. It's a good example to see. You can edit the markdown, the output, to change whatever you want to happen or not.
I think that's a good idea. I really want to do that where
Hmm.
we update this MD file. I'll remove most of these findings and only keep the ones that I actually wanted to action. Maybe
Correct.
I'll give it some additional context based on my own opinions or thoughts about how I want my system to look.
For
And
sure.
we can see if it does two things, if it can make the refactor the way I want it to, and
Hmm.
if it can also update the test classes and create new test classes for what I need. That way I can kind of holistically make a PR.
Okay, great.
You down?
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, he's down. Let's go. Okay. So, definitely, but I won't get a chance to necessarily look at all these other design smells that I called out. Is that okay?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And if you want to have a copy for this file, so we give it to everyone to review in the GitHub later on, we can have a copy from it, like to keep it as is, and feel free to edit this one as much as you want for our test scenario.
Love it. Full of great ideas, Sally. That's why I like working with you. Okay, sweet. So we'll upload that. I got that saved and backed up on another file here.
Great.
So I only care about this God object, for example. So let me start there. Let me re-review everything it said. The class name, customer big. Okay, that's fine, but I don't want to change that right now because a lot of my team already knows this as the
Mm-hmm.
customer onboard manager. I don't want to change that right now. That's too big of a conversation. The class handles account validation, contact creation. That's true. That's true. Method handles data. That's again true as well. Found the evidence, interpretation. Okay. So what I care about from now is just this suggested refactor.
Correct.
For now, I don't want to implement that separate logging. Let's say my team hasn't had the conversation about using Nebula Logger or building our own logging for whatever reason. So let's exclude that.
Okay.
The status updater, that status update logic was already in here. I didn't add that. So for now, let's not add that to our scope. Same thing with the task manager. That was already there. Let's, for the sake of argument or the sake of this example, just pretend that I added the account validation logic to this customer onboarding manager. And instead of creating a PR and asking my team to review this as is, I see that Agentforce called out this design issue and it's giving me the opportunity to refactor. So let me take it up on it. So its idea was to extract the account validation logic into a dedicated account validator class. Okay, cool, fine. Fair enough. Let's do that.
Okay. I would say I would assume maybe Agentforce Vibes will do more because of line 10, because in line 10 you say like we have validation, contact creation, task creation, and then
Mm-hmm.
you are saying here in the suggested refactor to do a single thing. So let's see how it will behave. Like I'm curious to see
Okay.
like
Let's do it. So we should, instead of creating a new prompt, we should create a new workflow just for this, right? Like a code refactor workflow. What do you think?
or I would say you can just start a new task and
Mm-hmm.
maybe I would say let's fix the changes or the findings and give it this MD file.
Okay. So I'll just say implement the refactor code review.md. Anything else you think I should say?
No, I think, and it's up to you at this stage to say plan and see what it will do, or plan or act. So it's each choice we can do. It's up to you which one
Okay.
you want to try now, Simon.
Let's do a plan. Do you
Okay.
think at this point I should mention the test classes as well? Like should I give it some hints about that or no?
Yes, if we want to, we can say and make sure to update, or either you can add it here or add it in the MD file. You can have a step two as update the test classes as needed, or we can add it here in the prompt.
I'll add it here so it's all kind of grouped together. So we'll also extract the tests for account validation logic into a new account validator test class. Cool.
Great. And the plan is good because it will give you step by step what it will do. So you can go into conversation with Agentforce Vibe, what you like, you don't like, what you don't want it to do.
Mhm.
And the deep planning is more for bigger tasks. Like I consider refactor tasks as bigger tasks to go with it, but for this one, let's go with the plan because deep planning takes time as well, more time.
Okay, cool. So let's see what it gave back. It's just highlighting what we said. You're right, it kind of unnecessarily has all that additional context it didn't really need for this refactor. But let's see if that impacted the proposed plan.
Sure.
Extract the logic by moving validate account, include the email validation, keep blah blah blah. That's just gonna include. Do you think include it means include the email validation logic in the customer onboarding manager or move it?
Uh, Move. I think it will keep it. Right? Because
Yeah, I
it
hope
said
so.
specifically remove the validate account. But again, if we feel like there is ambiguity, we can say in the prompt window, what like make sure to keep the contact creation and email validation in the function, like in the Agentforce vibe, like if you want.
Yeah, yeah, that's a good call out to do because for those that don't have the full context, this is a validate account. We're gonna pass in an account, gonna throw a custom exception if something's missing. We are gonna be creating a contact. One thing that I did wish it called out, or maybe it was in the other smells, is that this is a bad name for the method. Like it's
Mm-hmm.
called validate account, which it's doing, but it's also creating a contact
Mm,
and it's sending a welcome notification. I would not have known all that just by reading the name of the method.
mm. Yes,
Uh,
makes sense.
so what can we do? Maybe I wonder was that in the other? Let me go back here real quick.
You want to see in the other pieces you removed?
Yeah, I want to see. Did it call that out? Followed errors, inconsistent abstraction levels, methods misfit. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay, it did call that out.
Like if you want to start a new task and you want to use this file, we can go with it. Up to you.
Create a new. Sorry, can you say
Task.
that again?
Like we can start a new task and have the modified file, like use the modified file.
Oh yeah, we can definitely do that. What do you think the most ideal output would look like though? Should we have it? I don't agree with the feedback that I gave to create a new class called account validator
Mm-hmm.
because I don't want it to also bring in the contact logic and the send welcome email notification logic.
Mm-hmm.
It would seem kind of silly to build a new class just to do a string check on the account name and throw a custom exception.
Mm.
So let's see, what could we do instead?
Maybe have a private method just for the validation, but it depends. Like if you want to have to spread the concerns of the class and not mix like task rate, like task and account and everything. So it depends on what you want to do. Because some of the refactor, if you go like very specific, it can create
Hmm.
extra complexity you don't want to as well.
Right. I think what I'm thinking is, and I'm interested to get your thoughts, is one, let's fix the name of this method. This shouldn't be called validated account. It should probably be called create and welcome primary contact or
Mm-hmm.
something like that. Maybe just create primary contact. And then we still have the design spell potentially. We could still extract that out into its
Mhm.
own method if we wanted to.
Yeah, for sure. Go for it.
But, let's say we did do that. We would, I don't want to, I don't want to have the customer onboarding manager call some primary contact service or class just for it to come back and call the send welcome notification, you know?
you can have a utility for sending notifications, like more like as creating tasks, or if I assume if it's email, like email utility kind of.
Yeah, there we go. There we go. Now we're thinking, okay, so we would need a new class to handle this task creation. We would need a new class to handle the contact creation, which is what? Which was kind of its original suggestion,
Yeah. Maybe you don't
right?
agree with the names of the classes, but it was going
Yeah.
through the direction you wish it to go for.
Yeah. So the problem there then is if we were in this kind of real world context, uh, this is something that you'd still need to have a larger conversation with your team about creating these new classes, having this new understanding of how you're representing the domain in your classes. But I think maybe let's just go ahead and make some tweaks to the prompt here. But overall, maybe we should take its
As
suggested
is.
refactor as
Yeah,
is. Mm-hmm.
for sure.
Cool, cool, cool. Okay, so I have a tiny brain. I already forgot what the suggested refactor was. So let me open that preview up again. Extract the logic, move task creation, create the status updater class. Status updater. I can't get past that. Status updater. Where are we updating the status here? On the task? How about we keep the status updater here? I'm gonna I'm gonna opt to keep the status updater there.
Yeah,
I think
okay.
that should be okay. And then same thing with the logging. Let's just bring the logging in. We still don't want to do too much, but let's at least create that new task manager too.
Okay.
But, but, we should still update the name of this class, the validate account. So maybe we can have a new suggested refactor. Update the name of the. What would be a good name? Oh, we said create primary contact, I think, right? Create primary contact.
Yeah, I think that's the main intent for it, like to create the contact.
Yeah. I'm just kind of annoyed at that too, but we'll keep it at that. We'll see how it does.
Okay. Yeah. But don't forget to start a new task then, if we'll give it this one to
Yeah,
work with.
cool. Let's see how it does. I don't think that's like the most perfect prompt or plan, but we'll iterate on it and see how it does.
Did you remove the, did you remove everything? I don't see the rest. Did see just the God object?
I guess I don't need to remove everything, just the swallowed air is one I don't care about right now.
Okay. Because, okay, you can remove, yeah.
Oops. There you go. Create welcome
Because you
tag.
needed those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool, 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 cool. I wonder if it'll get tripped up between renaming this guy and me referencing that guy. We'll see.
Yeah, let's reference. But can you save it before doing this? And if you want to add in the steps the test classes, or add it in the prompt if you want. I don't think we have it in the new empty file.
You're right. Yeah. Thanks for reminding me. Great.
Yeah, good.
And while that's going, oops, have a clean working directory there before I go nuts. Okay, great. So current issues, got objects, swallow. Bro, what are you talking about, swallowed ears? You're not supposed to know about that. How does it know about that?
Did you give the right file?
Yeah, I think there's only the one. It's only defined there. Oh, was it in a summary or something up there? No. Problem. No. Weird. Okay, inconsistent abstraction
If you can scroll
level.
up, let's double check you give it the right file, like in the prompt. Like expand,
Mhm.
yes. Okay. Apex class code review. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. So
Weird. Okay. But at least no, it's still here.
you can remove the step three, like even in the conversation, you can say ignore fix error handling.
Okay,
Like,
cool.
don't
Yeah, I'll
fix
do
the
that.
error handling if you want.
Just how did it get in there? That's weird. But yeah, I'll definitely ask it to ignore it. So step one, create dedicated class for each responsibility, account validation, task management, blah blah blah, logging. I don't think I wanted to do logging. Okay. Do not implement a separate logging class for now.
And don't do the error. It's saying it will create new supporting classes. So I think we are good with the, right? Update the
Yeah,
existing.
you
Oh,
see where
okay.
it says,
Okay, okay. Yeah. Sorry, I
um,
was reading the one after.
oh no, you're good. Refactoring, cool, 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 cool. And then, I wonder. Yeah, that's fine. If I test, okay, great. Yeah. We'll see about that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
I'm just wondering if it said like it will modify existing, if by any chance you were playing with the refactor before and creating some test classes with the same names and you didn't delete it, just it thought.
Oh, like there was just leftover context.
Yeah,
Maybe.
maybe. So yeah, here it's a good thing to see like in the plan, like it's a good thing to review, and if you don't agree with something, it still allows you
Mhm.
to update your plan instead of going directly to the act and like if you don't like or agree on something, it's too late.
Yeah, I totally agree. It'll create those. It'll update the existing test class. Wonderful. Okay, great.
So
Let's
you
go
can
to
move to the
act.
act.
Let's go. And I'm not sure yet that I'm like in love with the refactor, but like, well, it's a nice way to kind of have Agentforce do the heavy lifting for you, and then I can kind of take a step back, look at everything, and just see how I feel about it without me having to spend the whole afternoon, you know, writing and realizing, oh crap, no, I don't actually like love the way that this ends up looking when it's
Yeah,
done.
and I would love to add something. Like we are testing here
Mm-hmm.
out of curiosity, like how it can do everything. But in my opinion, and like in real life projects, you would take the recommendation of the bad design smells and everything, and you will write like a dedicated prompt for each fix you want to do. Like we won't be doing everything in once, like because
Yeah.
the model won't like can get confused if we have a lot of intention and a lot of things we will be doing. Like here we had all the results going, but I think in projects, like I would take something small or like it fix, for example, if I want to work on error logging, like I can be a task on its own. And another one, if I have the validation or how I structure my utility classes, like I can say, I want to move any logic related to account validation to a new utility, and those classes need to fix to refer to it. Like I feel if we make it more concise in terms of the prompt, it will get you better results. I believe so.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Anything we can do to keep that context window smaller and the
Hmm.
prompts, scoped, I think that's
It's
that's
waiting for
really
you
important.
to run a command. I think it's looking for the test classes now. Yeah, it's
And it's
running.
doing all this with the core model. Let's see how the core model holds up.
Yeah. And one thing here to notice, like it's creating the meta XML files with 57. With the Pro model, you will have a higher API version, but it's not the correct one either in my test scenarios. So I had like a rule where I specified the right meta file API version I want in the rules, not the workflows, and usually it follows that. I can create one
Did you
for
make
the meta file.
a new
Correct.
rule?
Yeah, yeah. I can share it with you as well. Like I had it in on the Kodosali um GitHub. We did it in one of the sessions, but I created a file called meta files rules, and I had the syntax. I gave it to you. So anytime I generate new file and it needs a meta file, it creates the right version. But yeah,
Awesome.
that's great.
A4D. And you called this what, like work um
For me, I do it,
metadata?
I did custom general, like, it's my naming convention. Like, I said custom general meta files. I didn't start with the same A4D because Agentforce for developer, like, kind of like the A4D, I wanted to keep it for, Salesforce, out of the box, rules that ship with Agentforce Vibes. I don't want to mix the two together.
Okay, cool. Something like this, right?
Yeah, correct.
Cool, cool, cool. And these will all automatically run as long as they're enabled, correct?
Correct. And the thing that I learned as well, it's a good idea. Like for example, here, if we didn't have all the changes for us was only Apex, it's better
Hmm.
that we come here before running this task and close the LWC rule, for example, to disable it. So if we
Okay.
know that our changes are specific for certain categories, it's better to open and close them. It's um, as per my understanding, it's not a good idea to have all of them open. And the same, I would say, the workforce workspace rules. You have here some MD files. Um, like for the communication spells and everything. Um, maybe because you put it in the MD file, sorry, the A4D folder. So it enabled them for you, but I think you wanted them more for reference. So maybe the location
Mm.
of the files needed to be different, or at least to make sure that they are disabled. So we don't want everything enabled. And maybe that's explain why then, Saman, like you saw, let's say the error or like some of the smells you removed from your file, maybe because it was running and those rules were active. So I checked for them as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, definitely could have been. No, that's all super helpful. Thanks for showing me that, Sally.
No, no, you're welcome. That's
Okay,
great.
cool. It did it. So let's just take a little look at what it did. So instead
Here
of
we are
having these
using
be,
GitHub to see, but if someone doesn't have their Git, they can do the compare. But let's both are good. Okay, this one will don't show you like you have to start where you started your conversation,
so
because
the first one.
yeah, it created like a snapshot where it was. So here it had this snapshot before doing anything.
Hmm.
If you choose to compare later on and it created one file, the snapshot will be this file already created, so you won't see it.
Cool. Okay, cool. Yeah, let's use this view. This is nice. So let's start with the customer onboarding manager. It looks like it got rid of all those methods, which is good. That's what we wanted it to do. Instead, it's delegating out to other specialized classes. Okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's go pick on some of these and see how it ends up looking. So the account validator, validate account. Okay, so it didn't pick up on my ask to give it a new name. That's fine. We can do that in another prompt. But it did pull it out. The notification logic is no longer here. So let's see what it did with that. Okay, cool. It moved it out. Let me go look at that in here. Creating the welcome task. Okay, that's just kind of trivial, right? Just kind of copied and pasted these methods into its own class.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what the tests look like. Didn't really use test setup. Inserting one test. Cool. Creating an account.
And that's
Not
as
really
well
looking.
something we can, I don't think we have to keep it in the code review, MZ, but we can have
Hmm.
our rules as well for the test classes. Like if we want to have the assert classes instead of the system assert, if we prefer to have test data factory, if you want to use the test setup, like we can have those part of the rules. Uh, and remember, like we are using the core model. Maybe if we use the pro model, it could have give you a different result or like use the test setup. But for example, I have in my rules to use the assert class, for example. So eh, sometimes we want to give it like extra rules in our rule files. So it's not
Hmm.
just for this task, it's going forward. What we like in naming conventions of methods, of classes, of the test setup or the assert. So that's something we can fix with those rules too.
Yeah, no, that's a great call out. So a couple things that if we were just to do a quick code review on this test class, so we know what to input for our prompt later. One would be um, include test setup potentially, right?
Yeah.
Another one is I don't see any bulk testing here, right? We're just inserting one
Mm-hmm.
account. So maybe that's something.
And negative testing, I don't see something testing the exception
Mhm.
that can be an option. I think you don't like Test Data Factory, if I recall. Maybe not, but I like Test Data Factory myself. So I would create a Test Data Factory and I would use the system, the assert class instead of system.assert. But again, some teams may prefer something else. I don't know.
Yeah, test data factory or some like test domain model or something,
Mm-hmm.
like a builder or something, whatever they want to do. Let's call it just a test builder. But yeah, I think those are some decent call outs. Again, I didn't really like, I'm not gonna review this code for like the correctness, I guess.
Yeah.
But
And we still
I
need
think in
to
the real
test
world,
that it
obviously
will
zero.
run as well and like the test classes will succeed because sometimes the test classes that Agentforce Vibes create, like sometimes it doesn't run, like execute the test class correctly. So
Mm.
that's why as well, sometimes I say like it's better to be a developer knowing what to do because like maybe we will go with the code that got it like generated now. But if you know, like you will notice some patterns that you can enhance it. And
Hmm.
also if you know it, like you can have rules written in a proper way to cover them so you don't have to review it and fix it every time it generated. So learn development. That's
Yeah, exactly.
my advice.
Yeah. Yeah, curious to know if these pass, but I think we'll skip that for
Yeah,
today.
for sure.
Another thing to do as well is maybe this should be its own design spell, but just having a test without differentiating whether or not it's a unit test or a functional test could be another smell as well here,
Mm-hmm.
where we're it kind of implicitly testing the database here by creating account records, but then we're not testing any DML operations that would lead to this create welcome task being called. We're just calling the task manager directly.
Mm-hmm.
And there's something to be said there as well. And I'm really interested actually to see how it could help us do some mocking as well. But conversation for another day.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'm gonna probably assume it did the same thing with the other tests, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which, yeah, it looks like it did. So we'd probably give the same feedback there.
Yeah.
Maybe put into a loop. Status manager. Let's do a quick look there. Let's see what it did. And go back to that lovely diff view, its own status manager class.
But
But
I
I
think
think that
it
really
had this in the overview Markdown file. So again, like if we have the time
exactly.
and we fix it the way to, and that applies as well to deep planning. When we do the deep planning, it generates a Markdown file that you're supposed to go through it line by line and see what it will
Mhm.
do, the naming, the classes, you agree with it or not, and fix it. So, but like we spend a lot of time today, so if we go line by line and fix it the way we want it, like we will finish later and like we'll spend more time. But in real projects, like you're not rushing. I know Agentforce Vibes and other vibe tools are supposed to increase your velocity, and definitely it will. But you have to spend some time adding rules, adding some governors to it. If it generate a file that it will use for the task, review it properly, pick and choose if something is not correct, fix the names, and that will like accelerate it too. Here, because of the time limit as well, we didn't have the time like to set up all the rules we want to have and to go through line by line of the review and fix it the way we wish to do it. So I believe it did a pretty decent job based on what we told it to do. Like if it didn't do what we like, that will be an issue with our prompt or how we instructed to do it, or that we didn't review the markdown file. So I wanted to make it clear because prompting and having a good prompt and having good rules will result that you have a better output as well.
Yeah, 100% agree. This was a skills issue when it came to the prompting. Because yeah, to your point, it told us that it was going to do this with the status manager. But yeah, whenever I'm actually looking at it, I'm thinking, oh, this is a bad idea. But yeah, great opportunity to, reprompt here or just to be more diligent in the first place.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. So, yeah, thank you so much, Saman. Like, it was a lovely session. I believe we experiment a lot of things together. We split the file like into multiple smaller files, organize it in a better way, which makes it as well easier for you in real life projects, like to maintain workflows, files, and rules. If you want to fix the piece, like it's not a long file, you have to go through it. Or if you have a piece that you may use it in across multiple workflow rules. So that way, like by splitting them into smaller files, we can reference them in different like context and like different workflows or separate on its own. So it's a good way to experiment that. I believe, and also thank you, Beach, again. Like we experiment how to read a specific file based on the user criteria and what they chose. So I didn't try this before. I tried before asking questions and giving options, but never tried to read files. So it was great to try it today, and I learned that from Beach. So that I'm grateful for him. And that's what I say. Like we are all learning together. It's a learning experience and skill we have to build. The more we'll work and try it and test it out, we'll learn more about it. So I think the lesson learned, at least from my end, I don't know you, Saman, like uh better prompting for sure. The how to write the instruction and the workflow and asking questions, read the file, that's a great thing. Be mindful about the rules on like the meta file. Be mindful about like if you want to have specific criteria in your task classes, it's a good idea to have a rule file and make sure as well before running the task to see if like if you don't have LWC, disable the LWC, like enable only the rules because I suspect that why we saw extra checks for extra design smells when we were doing the planning for the refactor because we had extra rules enabled. So I think it's a good idea like to be mindful which files we have, and that's something like one of the best practices Jeff shared in the session to enable only the rules we like. But definitely, definitely, I cannot thank you enough, Saman. I learned a lot today through the session, and I enjoyed like tweaking the Markdown file together with you and seeing like live how it will work. I hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah. No, likewise. Yeah, I learned a lot from you. I thought it was really fun to do a live session where neither of us know exactly what the outcome's going to be, and we're just using each other to bounce ideas off each other. I had a lot of fun. Thanks, Sally.
Thank you so much. And definitely, I will always say it like it's not the last time to have you on Kudu Sally. I'm sure we'll have other collaboration, other cool ideas and stuff to try. And we have other collaboration coming soon, hopefully, between Kudu Sally and Camp Apex. So keep an eye. And for anyone who's watching the video, I hope you like it. If you want to watch more videos about Agentforce Vibes, either sessions that I covered or great speakers as Saman, who joined Kudusani and shared their knowledge. Like you will find everything on YouTube. So I want to thank you again, Saman. It was great to have you here, and thank you to be here for the second time with me. I really appreciate
You too, Sally. Thanks so
it.
much.
Thank you. Bye.
All right, bye.